Hi you guys, hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Serena, and today we have a bit of a reset video that we're going to be doing because it is the end of May somehow. I don't have much resetting to do for May. I feel like because I just had my room under construction, like it's looking pretty good for now. If you didn't watch last week's weekly vlog, I think I briefly talked about it. I was gonna vlog the whole process and then I just got on such a roll that I didn't. I did get new shelves. I upgraded my Target shelves to the IKEA Billy bookcases and I love them. They're not as deep as the Target shelves, which is one of the first things that I noticed. So they're more flush against the wall. And it actually is like opening up a little bit more space in my room. And that's so funny to me because like a couple inches here and there does make a difference. Part of the reset I want to do is talking about the books that I read in May. And I'm just pulling up the little graphic that I made because it'll be easier for me to remember all the books. Okay, so I make these reading trackers to post on, like, you're not gonna be able to see that, my Instagram story. And I post blank ones for y'all to use too if you want to use it. This month was a big beachside book fest. I know I keep talking about it. You guys are probably like, Serena, like, we get it, you went to beachside. But I read a lot of books of authors that were going to be at Beachside Book Fest, and that kicked off the month with Consider Me by Becca Mack. This is a hockey romance. I forgot the actual name of the series. I think I gave this one 4.5 stars. I loved it. This was my introduction to Becca Mack. I call these like popcorn books where you just need more and more and more and you can't put this book down, and that's how I felt with this one. I think I listened to the audio while also reading it. I think it was part of, was it on Kindle Unlimited? I remember digitally reading it. I think it was also on Kindle Unlimited. So binged that. I am so excited to dive into book 2. I just got the audiobook of it, so I'm gonna try to read it in June, but we're gonna talk about my June TBR later because it's a very big TBR. There's a lot going on for June, which I'm excited about, but also very nervous about that. But we're gonna talk about that later when we pull all the books for it. Then I read Unloved by Peyton Corinne. I read Unsteady probably March, I think. I read it in March, loved it. It was 5 stars. It was so good. Oh my gosh, it was so good. That's also hockey romance that follows a figure skater and a hockey star. I gave it 5 stars. It was amazing. And then Unloved is book 2 to that, and Peyton Corinne was also at the book festival, so I said I need to read those 2 books. Unloved follows a hockey star and tutor, and they help each other out and they end up together. Then I read The Art of Catching Feelings, this was such an interesting premise. I think I either gave it 4, 4.5, or 5 stars. I don't remember, because at one point I was getting really frustrated, and if a book brings an emotion out of me, I'm like, yeah, like that's a good book. I think I read it in a previous vlog and I was like not sure if I would recommend it or not, but I still think after the fact, like I think about the premise from time to time and I'm like, yeah, I would probably recommend that. She's looking for a job and she ends up becoming one of like the broadcaster, like media people for his team, but she also is talking to him via like Instagram DMs under another name, and basically he thinks he's talking to 2 different people, so you get that dynamic. But that's all I'm gonna say about it. So then I read The Maid's Secret, which this whole series for me is 5 stars. I love this series so much, and I'm so sad that it's done. I've been pushing off. I pushed off the new one for a little bit, and then finally I think the audiobook came through, and I really love the narrator of it. So I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna read it. And it was so good. Then I read The Strawberry Pancake House, which was good. Not my favorite in the series. That one was the baker, and what was the guy's role in the town? He came into the bake shop all the time. I think that was really it. I don't think he had like a major role. This is bad that I can't remember. Usually I'm pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and try to remember, but yeah, not my favorite in the series. There's other better ones out there. Then I read First Down by Grace Farley, and oh, I probably can't remember it because I finished it. Yeah, I finished it during our flight delay, and I remember being like, yeah, I'm engaged, like this is great. But then the next day I woke up and I was like, I don't remember anything that I read. So I must have been really, really tired that day. Then I read First Down by Grace Riley. This is a sports photographer and football player. One of my first football romances. So that was pretty cool to read. And I really liked Grace Riley's writing. Finished that while I was in Florida. I finished the regular edition. I haven't finished like the special edition because the epilogue is 13 chapters long. So I was like, I don't really want to read 13 chapters because that's like part of a book at this point. And when I started to read the epilogue, they had a problem and I was like, I don't want them to like struggle in the epilogue. So full transparency, I have not finished the extended epilogue. I've just read like the standard version of the book. Then I read Heartless Hunter for our book club that I ran over on Fable, and that I gave, I think, 4 stars, 4 or 4.5. Really good. Similar premise to the Powerless series by Lauren Roberts that I'm reading right now. So I was like, oh, like I know this plot line already, but it was still really good. I went into it completely blind. I didn't try to predict anything, which I'm trying not to do that because I don't want to set expectations for a book, because I knew I wanted to read Fearless, and then I was like, oh, I don't want to read 2 fantasy books back to back. I read Daydream by Hannah Grace, and this is also a tutor sort of student relationship kind of thing, and that one I gave 4 stars. Really cute. I think that I liked Daydream better. But like I was saying, I think yesterday or the day before, these books are so like standalone, but they're also interconnected, that you don't need to read, in my opinion, you don't need to read the first 2 and if you want to read book 3. But if you want the background of the couples that are mentioned in books 2 and 3, I would read them in publication order. So that's the wrap up for May. I'm trying to finish this before the end of the night tomorrow so I can count it for May, or at least get to like 50% in this, because if I get to over 50% in a book before the month ends, I count it for the previous month. I don't count it for the new month. Whatever I read the majority of the book in is what I count it for. So another thing that we have to do for this reset is plan my June content, and because I'm going to be reading a whole series in June, my content is going to probably look a little bit different. I'm also slightly pivoting for June. We're going to try it just for a month, primarily YouTube only, and then like float around on Instagram, if that makes sense. Like I'm still going to post polls and like get y'all's input on what to read or talk to you about whatever I'm reading, but I think primarily I'm going to be over here on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. I just think that I do a lot better with YouTube content. I personally love making YouTube content. I don't always love creating Instagram content, and YouTube is just like my happy place, and I enjoy being over here more. So I'm just kind of chasing that high, I guess. So we have to plan some content later and shelve some books. I've received plenty of book mail over the last couple of days from publishers, so I just have to find spots for it on my shelves, or they might end up in the piles that I have that are not shelved, because I have my shelves situated in such a way right now that they're maxed out, and I like the format that I have them in right now. I don't really feel like rearranging them, so I might just put them in piles. I think that's probably what's gonna end up happening. At this point, we're not gonna do any resetting now because I do have to leave in like 10 minutes. So what I'm gonna do actually is make another cup of coffee. Even though I haven't finished the one that I'm on, I'm gonna just at least take it to go, and then we will catch up later when we do some planning. I think I'm gonna charge my iPad. Yeah, I have to charge this. It's on like 16%. So gotta charge the iPad so that we're good to go when I get back. And then when I get back, we will do some planning, talk about the TBR and content and whatever else needs to be reset. Hello, you guys. It is a couple days later at this point. I am rather sunburnt. My face feels like it's on fire. I went to a baseball game yesterday and it was not even like that sunny, but I guess because the sun was in and out and we were sitting right below the sun. I have this cute little sunburn now. I wanted to show you all my June TBR, since that's part of this reset video, is picking out the June TBR. I don't own... Actually, that's a lie. Hold on. I didn't think this through very well. Okay, so I think this is the June TBR. I don't want to get too, what's the word, ambitious, because I don't own all of the books in the Boys of Tommen series that are out at this point. I only own books 1 through 4. So, and because I want to do a reading vlog with it, I don't know how long it's going to take me to read each book. It could take me a day, it could take me a week. I'm going to be doing a Boys of Tommen reading vlog series. Since this is my first time going through this series, I figured it would be fun to document it. I don't know if I'm going to do 1 book per series or just like read and then like just keep going and then just have like weekly recaps. I don't know. But let's talk about the TBR. I'm gonna just go, I have this giant pile here and they're not in order by any means, but this is the TBR for the most part. So assume there's gonna be maybe like 1 or 2 other books. I posted that poll about, should I binge my NetGalley? Should I read Boys of Tommen? Or should I like just ditch all of that and reread the Addicted series? So NetGalley and Boys of Tommen probably came in tied. I think I can look at the final results. I didn't get to see like the end results, but let's see if I can pull them up from my archive. And y'all were telling me to be responsible at one point. Like really responsible and just do my NetGalley. But then I was like, maybe we can do both. All right, so the final results of the poll were 49% of you said to binge NetGalley, and then 44% said Boys of Tommen. 7% said reread the Addicted series. So we're gonna do a bit of both because I want to get into Boys of Tommen. I also want to work on my NetGalley, so we're gonna do both. That's why also I think I'm okay with just reading books 1 through 4 of the Boys of Tommen series this month, because I do want to work on my NetGalley. All right, so let's just talk about the books that I'm gonna be reading. There's also some audiobooks I don't have the physical book like in this pile for, so we're just gonna talk about all of the things. The first one, it's actually part of my NetGalley, is The Body in the Backyard. This is not a new release by Lucy Score, it's just a re-release. So I do have this on my Kindle. I will probably be reading it on my Kindle. I think it's gonna be like small town, you know, mystery, like who did it situation. Obviously, Body in the Backyard. They probably discover the body and then they figure out who did it. So pure Lucy Score fashion. Actually, this isn't that thick. The series is the Riley Thornton novel. So there's a whole bunch of them. The next one is The Dead Guy Next Door, Corpse in the Closet, and Blast from the Past. I have the whole series on NetGalley on my Kindle, but I only have books 1 and 2. No. Yeah, I only have books 1 and 2 of the physical copies, and that's totally fine with me. So we're gonna start with this one. Get my NetGalley score up ever so slightly by reading, reviewing, and posting for this one. Then, actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna talk about the non-Boys of Tommen books first, and then we'll talk about Boys of Tommen and my thoughts on that. Next one I'm gonna read is Rewinded Back by Liz Tomforty. I just want to read this. It's a new release. I'm trying to really be better at reading new releases as soon as they come out versus waiting months and months and months. It's been quite some time since I read Caught Up was the last one that came out, or Play Along. I think it was Caught Up, if I'm not mistaken. I could totally be wrong on that. But anyway, it's been a while since I was in this world, so I want to get back into it before I lose brain cells about the world and the characters. Because I know in the past weekly vlog, I couldn't remember the characters from book 1, and it's Xander's and Stevie. I remembered after the fact. I was watching the footage back and I was like, come on, how did I not know that? So yeah, I figured that out. And then I have on actually this sports, I think I showed you guys in a weekly vlog, the Liz Tomford, all the books in the series. I have them on a t-shirt now, which is super cute and fun. My sister was like, are those tarot cards? And I said, no, they're books. I guess because it's giving like fantasy, whimsical, like with the sun here and the stars, but that's why I liked it. I thought it was different for a bookish t-shirt. All right, so those are the physical books. Now we are going to look at Libby and see what audiobooks I can listen to this month. I have a bunch of them. All of them are due like 10 days, 12 days, 16 days, 14 days. Okay. So the first audiobook we're going to listen to is 9 Month Contract by Amy Dawes. I have the book 2 to this book on my NetGalley shelf. Got to listen to book 1 before I can read book 2, but I'm hoping to get both of those done this month. I don't know about that, but at least get book 1 done. So then in July, I can do book 2. And I'm keeping this TBR. I know it probably doesn't seem reserved, but I'm keeping it reserved because at the end of the month, I am going to be traveling. Going to teen camp with the kids at my church. So I'm just factoring in like no reading whatsoever happening that week. Yeah, I just don't think any reading's going to happen that week aside from my Bible and just like talking to the kids. So I'm thinking like 7 or 8 books. I've been averaging about 10 books. May was 9, but I also read some really thick books in May. Fearless, Heartless Hunter, and Consider Me were all pretty thick books. So I'm not mad about still reading 9 books, like that's great. Even if I read like 2 books, it would still be great. So not concerned about that. But I think that's probably the only audiobook that I really need to listen to. I have some other great options too that I'm either gonna have to renew or get back on a wait list for. There's 2 people waiting and oh my goodness, there's 8 people waiting on that one. Okay, so maybe we'll have to see. My TBR, I always like to set a general TBR and then if I don't follow it, it's not a big deal. But I also have Under the Same Stars, and this book, I watched Olivia read it from Olivia Reads a Latte and she said it was 6 stars. So I was like, maybe I should check that out. That looks good. Her and I have like similar reading tastes, but not the same. So I usually take her suggestions and like, sorry, my hair is stuck on my earring. I take her suggestions and then like just kind of filter them and see if I would be interested or not. This one looked good. So I was like, I'll reserve it from the library and I'll see. But it's due in 14 days and there's 2 people waiting. So maybe I can get it done. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back on a wait list for that. And then also from Katie's Reading, and I think Olivia read this one too, but it's the Emily Wiles Encyclopedia of Fairies. 8 people are waiting, so I really should listen to this one and then return it as soon as possible. It's due in 16 days, but maybe I can do that one sooner. I also have Play With Me by Becca Mack. This is the second book in the, I never remember the series name. It's literally like right up here. Oh, it's a Playing for Keeps. So the series is Playing for Keeps. Play With Me is the second book in the series. So I would like to listen to that. And then, let's see. I also have Catch the Sun from Jennifer Hartman. Will I get to this one this month? This was kind of just like I haven't read one of her books in a while, so let me get back into it kind of reserve. So I don't know if I'll read this, but it was an automatic checkout. So if anything, I can just like renew it. And then I also finally received Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. And this one I probably will get to towards the end of the month. I waited a long time for that audiobook. If you guys watched my vlogs back in May, I reserved it like early May. It could have even been late April. So I would like to get that one done. And then last but certainly not least, we have the Boys of Tommen series. So I have the first 4 books with these covers in the Boys of Tommen series, and I am nervous to get into these, but I'm also very excited to get into them. I like the ombre. I fixed them. So here's 1 through 4. I have very little idea of what this series is about. I genuinely don't know. I just know I think they play lacrosse. I don't know. And I know for a fact there are a lot of hard topics talked about in these books. So just check that before you go dive into them. They are marketed as young adult, but in my opinion, I've been saying this since like I first heard about them, they should be marketed as young adult. Like I don't think that's accurate, but I will be reading the first 4 books. They don't all look crazy big. I mean, book 4 looks big. What's this, like 600 pages? It's almost 800. Oh my gosh. So I have book 1 in audiobook form, but it's in 2 parts and I don't love that. So I think these are probably going to be Kindle reads because they are on Kindle Unlimited right now. So I figured I'll just do that. And then I'm probably gonna tab them. I was thinking about it. Since it's a first read through, if I love them, I'll end up tabbing them, but I'm kind of going into the intention of reading book 1 and tabbing it, and then we'll see with the other books. Do I have a star prediction for this series? No, I don't. I just want to go in with no expectations, no meditated like thoughts or opinions or anything like that. So I have seen a lot of things about the new one that came out. I think it's releasing 10. I don't know if that's book like, I think it's book like 7 or 8. I don't know. And I know there were supposed to be more books, but that's up in the air at this point. So do I love that I'm reading a non-finished series? No, but it happens. It's gonna be okay. I usually like to wait as long as possible. Like, that's what I did with Crescent City. I read all of the books once I knew there was gonna be a 3rd book, and obviously we don't even know if that series is finished. So yeah, there could be some cliffhangers, there could be some questions left unanswered, but I'm excited to read these. The TBR is looking good for this month. Got a lot of different things going on for it. And then the last thing that I have to do is still plan content for June. I kind of already did some of it. I don't think I will show you guys that because it's just gonna be the same weekly themes throughout the month. So it's gonna be a weekly vlog and then a Boys and Tommen. No, it'll be Boys and Tommen first and then weekly vlog. And that's basically gonna be the whole month. I was debating whether to just do the reading vlogs and being the Boys and Tommen series, but you know, I don't know if you guys want that specifically in a weekly vlog. So I figured we can talk about Boys and Tommen, but we can also talk about the other books that I'm reading and what's going on in my life. Like, other things, if you're not interested in this series, I figured I would just do it separate. In case you are, you can watch those vlogs. If not, you can watch the other vlogs. And then in the weekly vlogs, we'll talk about the other books that I'm reading, listening to, all that jazz. That's gonna be it for this video. I know it was like kind of the most boring reset ever, but I didn't really have much to reset this month, which I kind of love when I have a month like that where we can just flow into the next month and not have to do too much. So not every month's gonna be like that, but this month was. So I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the YouTube things, drink your water, have a good day on purpose, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.